Reactions are pouring in following President Bola Tinubu's submission of a new list of ambassadorial nominees as the African Democratic Congress slammed the president, labeling the nominees as political settlements. The party especially condemned the appointment of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, former INEC chairman, arguing it risks eroding the commission's credibility. ADC's National Publicity Secretary Malam Bolaji Abdullahi said Yakubu's appointment just 2 years after the 2023 election raises concerns about INEC's impartiality. Abdullahi called on Yakubu to reject the nomination and urged the Senate to also reject him, warning that it sets a dangerous precedent, compromising Nigeria's democracy. The ADC further criticized the entire list as filled with political allies and called for a diplomatic corps focused on national interest, not patronage. Similarly, the People's Democratic Party has strongly condemned the selections, describing the list as reprehensible and scandalous. The president forwarded 32 additional names to the Senate for confirmation, coming just days after the first batch of 3 nominees was submitted. In a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary, Ememobong, the PDP alleged that the list features individuals viewed unfavorably by both Nigerians and the international community, citing what it called integrity deficits and notable anti-democratic activities. And now to discuss more on this, we are joined by the National President of the Association of Retired Career Ambassadors of Nigeria, Ambassador Joe Keshi. Well, we are going to just look at the questions. Now, do you consider President Tinubu's ambassadorial list as a political settlement or a representation of competent technocrats needed for the job?
I guess when you look at the list, first, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I guess when you look at the list, there are a few names that I'm very, very comfortable with, that they will be great representatives of the country itself. But my major concern, and which is why I agreed to appear on your program tonight, I hear that that there's a possibility that there are other names that will soon be announced by the president. And I want to appeal to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to please, for God's sake, to consider officers of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs since the 1960s was created as the institution fundamentally put in place for the formulation and execution of the foreign policy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And when you read the history of the ministry, the prime minister, the only prime minister in Nigeria, he had a very clear idea of what he wanted the foreign ministry to look like. He wanted a foreign ministry that is competent and strong enough to compete with his peers around the world. Today, I'm not too sure that what we are doing aligns with the thoughts and the mindset of the Prime Minister as far back as 1960. And so I appeal to the President, if he is going to release another list, he should please consider the current ambassadors who today are disappointed, who today are wondering whether it's worth it, serving this country, who today have been waiting for many years to become ambassadors, and when they have gotten to that level, they are now being denied by some, by some appointments that is very difficult to understand. As I said, there are a few names there that I'm very comfortable with. For example, you just showed Erelu Adebayo I have no problem that she will be an outstanding diplomat because I know her personally and I have served on a board with her. She's industrious, she's very working, she's talented, and she will do very well. But what we need to understand is that some of these, most countries also have agents on the ground here who report back to their missions. And some of the characters that have been appointed with their records, they are going to reflect that to their home government. And even if the Senate approves it and they are granted agreement because they do not want to break diplomatic relations or, annoy the Nigerian government, or create diplomatic crisis, the truth of the matter is that they are going to watch these people from day one. And that is why it's very important that whoever we appoint as ambassador of Nigeria to other countries, they must have credibility.
All right.
They must have credibility. They must have competence.
So let me come in here, Ambassador Keshi. You mentioned a particular name, and some people also have issues with other names on that particular list when you talk about reputation and international image. For example, the ex-INEC boss Mahmood Yakubu, ex-presidential aide Reno Mokri, former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode. Now, when you look at in its entirety and these names, those who actually made the list, does it show that probably Nigeria's credibility abroad could be undermined?
I sometimes find it difficult to understand the way we make decisions in this country. There are reputable Nigerians all over this country that can represent this country, that can represent Nigeria anywhere in the world. Where we do rely on some of the people you are mentioning, beats my imagination. You have some governors here that have been nominated to go out. With all due respect, they were failures in their states. They left their state worse than they met it. And these are the same people you are being asked to go and represent the country. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? But my concern is, as of today, when you look at the list, there is only 2 or 3 people from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Our concern is that to appeal to the president, if he does not want the diplomatic structure of Nigeria to totally collapse under him, he should please reconsider this list, or in the next list, make sure that he appoints the next set of ambassadors from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These guys have been preparing since they joined the ministry more than 20, 25 years ago to become ambassadors. And it is unfair. Look, one of those things that create problem in this country is when the government deliberately becomes unfair to its citizens. How do you explain this? Why don't we take civilians? Why don't we take politicians and make them army generals? Why don't we take politicians and make them army generals? The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been under pressure for a couple of years. Every department or state wants to take a share of the ministry.
Well, Ambassador Keshi, we know it's not all done and buried yet, because definitely there will be a red chamber scrutiny for these particular lists. And judging by previous experiences, I just had to, ask this question.
Hear you, sir.
Ambassador Keshi, can you hear me now? Okay, so I'm just going to ask the question. I want to believe that you can hear me. So I said, are you actually confident now that the Nigerian Senate, because definitely there will be a scrutiny, do you think that they will be able to do due diligence during the screening process for the names on this list?
Okay. Are you in this country? Which Senate are you talking of? I can bet you that by tomorrow evening or the next day, the Senate would have approved it. These are people who never do diligence. These are people who care to do the proper. Listen, when you do a Senate sitting in a place like the United States, as an example, because we copied our constitution from the United States. When you do this kind of hearing, all your life, all what you have done in your life is exposed during the Senate hearing. People are invited to come and talk about you. But our own Senate is just going to go there and, of course, everybody is APC anyway, and they approve everybody, and that's it. But my concern and the concern of myself and our colleagues is that we do not want to see the Ministry of Foreign Affairs completely destroyed by low morale, by disappointments. And guess what? When you have diplomats going out and with low morale and this set of disappointment, they are subjected to being picked up by foreign agents who will begin, who they will begin to, people have done it all over the world. And they are watching exactly what we are doing in this country. So I repeat, my appeal is, Mr. President has the right and he has decided what he wants to do, but we are appealing that he should please consider appointing ambassadors on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Joe Keshi, for sharing your thoughts with us.